Hey, what's up everyone? BDF44 coming at you with another video. Okay, so we finally have a conclusion to the Dennis Schröder free agency saga. He is landing with the Boston Celtics for their $5.9 million mid-level exception deal. And it's a tough pill to swallow, obviously, for him. And, he was intending on possibly signing a long deal upwards of $100 million or $80 million plus. Obviously more than 80 because he turned that down with the Lakers. But he was hoping to get a deal that was going to have him paid upwards of 120 million dollars. I heard numbers as high as 150 million dollars. Just completely out pricing himself and ultimately destroying his value. So, if you want to know my opinion and some of the conversations that I've had about this, scroll down throughout my videos. You're going to see his name. I've had this conversation on this camera about his situation at least 7 times, at least 8 times, as recently as an hour ago. So it's already broken down as much as I possibly would be willing to speak about it. The only thing I would be really willing to say on top of everything else is just that he has 1 year on this deal, meaning if he plays it up, if he balls out this season with the Boston Celtics, or if they trade him, I could see them trading him at the deadline, being that it's an expiring contract. But if he plays well this season, he can go at it again, try to see if he can make another run at the type of money that he believes himself to deserve. Now, will he ever play his way into a $150 million contract? No, that's not happening. I think the problem that he's going to run into now is this history, the history of this occurrence taking place going forward. That could affect how people approach negotiating with him and his representation later on. So I can totally see him getting low ball next year just off the strength of that much. But all in all, I'm sure he's very happy to get this put behind him. I looked at his IG post. He didn't mention anything of his free agency. He handled it like a pro. He just addressed the fans of Boston, saying he's ready to get started and he's going to, pull it all on the floor for them. He's going to lay it all on the line and for the Boston Celtics. So he handled it like a pro. He did not mention anything about his free agency. He didn't tell us anything. He didn't react to the rumors. He didn't express disappointment at how this has come about or nothing. Just complete and utter professionalism from him. So as far as I'm concerned, I haven't heard anything from Dennis Schröder. And because I haven't heard anything from Dennis Schröder, my speculation about his circumstances only allow me to believe the possibility of it, but for so much, to such a degree rather, because I haven't heard anything from him. And when that happens, when you don't hear from the horse's mouth at all, it's always wise to consider that maybe the information you've been fed isn't true. So that's always been my thing about this Dennis Schröder situation. If the narrative is true, I've been able to run with all different types of life lessons and different business approaches and things of that nature that I've been able to talk about in regards to the mistakes that it appears that he's made. But it's also a possibility that this isn't necessarily the way things appear and that his situation may be a bit more complicated than maybe we are aware of. Because you don't see a player's value plummet like this very often, especially without an injury or some type of off the court occurrence that would kind of mess that up. A guy can talk his way out of some money, but to talk his way out of this much money, you have to wonder if something else is happening. So that's what makes me wonder. I haven't heard from him, but for him to say thank you for giving me an opportunity, Boston, I'm ready to get to work. So that's what I'm gonna take it as. I'm gonna take it as that, at face value. We can jump at it in a lot of different ways, but going by what he says is the most reliable thing to do, I think. So yeah, man, congratulations to him. I don't know if it's appropriate to congratulate. I don't know that, but what I can say is it must be a sigh of relief to have some certainty now. And I'm imagining that he's going to be very much fueled to play his best basketball for the Boston Celtics, given how this has gone. So I don't think he has anyone to be mad at. Like as far as the Lakers for not keeping that deal on the table. Um, that deal was not a very good one for us. So that we offered him that, and he didn't take it, was probably a good thing for the Lakers. Um, I like Dennis Schroeder. I believe in him, and to the degree of paying him $85 million isn't a bad contract for an average team for his value. I don't think it's like he can play that up. I think the problem is if you're the Lakers paying him that amount, with AD and Bron being your two players, you want a guy with that much of your cap to be someone more like Russell Westbrook, that type of cachet, that type of production. So that would have been a very bad signing for the Lakers, to be completely honest with you. But all in all, because it would have been of value, I think we would have been able to trade it at that value. But I'll tell you this, the Boston Celtics are going to have a much easier time trading him at this value, 5.9, I can tell you. And as I alluded to in a previous video, they will have flexibility opportunities that they didn't have before making this signing. So, yeah, man, that is what it is. That is what it is. Dennis Schroeder, I think, is going to slip in as I want to say starting point guard, but I'm not really sure because Marcus Smart's situation is a bit uncertain. At this stage in his career, I'd imagine he want a big role. Question is that role the one that the Boston Celtics have for him? Does he want to be the main facilitator? Or does he want to continue to come off the bench and be more of a defensive specialist who can do some things for you offensively, including facilitate? There's a difference as opposed to being tasked with running the offense. And I think with Dennis Schroeder, you're going to find out that he's an attacking player, an offensive player. May get some assists, but he is not the guy you want setting up your offense. He's not the guy that you want tasked with making other people better. That's not what comes naturally to him. He's an offensive shoot-first guy with some real good ability, efficient ability to hit his shots and pick good shots and attack and hit his free throws. He's a very good player, but he's not a facilitator. So at this point, I don't know if you want to start him. If you're the Boston Celtics, they do also have a guy by the name of Peyton Pritchard that I think is a really good point guard. I mentioned a lot. He came in as a rookie last year, showed some flashes. He will have his opportunities as well with that team. So Dennis Schroeder's he's gonna find his way. They have new coaching there, so we'll see what the coach decides with that roster. And if the Boston Celtics decide to make some type of move because of what I just said, them finding this very good deal here. So maybe they swing for the fences. I could totally see them doing something like that. So anyway, yeah, that's what I got. My name is BO44. Thank you all for watching.